Castlevania Bloodlines for the Sega Genesis is one of the more classical Castlevania games in the series, in case you couldn't tell by its wonderful graphics. We covered a lot of new stuff lately, so it's kinda refreshing to visit one of the grandpas of the series. But let's take a look at the game's story first. And this is important, since the game tells us what happened to the Belmont clan and why they were absent during the events of Order of Ecclesia. What happened is this. After Richter Belmont had been possessed by the Dark Priest Shaft, he felt unworthy to wield the Vampire Killer Whip and passed it on to a distant relative of the Morris clan. The Morris clan continued to fight against Dracula, and in the year 1897, a guy named Quincy Morris defeated the Dog of Darkness once again. And that's cool as you may think, since Quincy Morris is one of the characters who killed Dracula in Bram Stoker's novel. Oh, I mean Ram Stoker, of course. Now we have to skip a few years ahead to the year 1914, close to the start of the First World War. Elizabeth Bartley, a vampire and Dracula's niece, yeah, that's right, he has a niece now, assassinated the Crown Prince of Austria to start a worldwide war. Now I take personal offense of that. Her plan worked and millions lost their life in the First World War. But what is her goal? She wants to use the souls of the deceased to revive her uncle. We skip ahead yet again to the year 1917 to meet our two protagonists. That's right, there are two main characters you can choose to play as. First, there is John Morris, the new wielder of the Vampire Killer Whip. There's also a guy named Eric Lecourt. He's hunting Elizabeth to get revenge after his girlfriend was turned into a vampire. He also wields the powerful Alucard spear. Both are now chasing the vampire lady through Europe to stop Dracula's resurrection. That should be enough to give you an understanding of the story. But how does the game play? I won't waste too much time to talk about the graphics and the music. It's a Castlevania game, you can expect quality here. Both John and Eric control pretty much the same, but both have their distinctive playstyle. John can jump and whip, and he can also use his whip to swing over obstacles. Eric, on the other hand, can use his spear to get rid of those pesky enemies, and he has a handy up and down strike attack. Both can use the usual Castlevania sub-weapons, and the crash attack introduced in Round of Blood is making a return too. You may remember that I told you that Order of Ecclesia was the most difficult game for me yet. Scratch that, Bloodlines is here to take over that spot. Just mess up one jump, time one attack too early or too late, and it's off to the graveyard for you. I myself died over and over and over and over and over and over again. Maybe I just suck at these games. Castlevania Bloodlines uses the familiar linear stage mechanic and will have you travel to Romania, Greece, England, France, Italy, and Germany. And just look at those Germans. Even death can stop them from working. And here we go, let me give you a little spoiler warning. For a 14-year-old game. We eventually make our way to Elizabeth's castle, where we are first stopped by our old friend, the grim fucking Reaper. Weirdly enough, he doesn't attack us right away. Instead, he challenges us to a card game. That's weird. With death dealt with, it's time to face off with Elizabeth, and you just know what I'm going to say next. Even though we kill her, Dracula rises again. In my opinion, this is the hardest fight against him yet. The Lord of Doucheness has 3 different faces and knows how to make your life a living hell. Oh sweet, look at that! We get our free pizza! The game ends with either John or Eric watching Castlevania collapse, yet again. While John is embracing his destiny to be a vampire hunter, Eric leaves Alucard's spear behind and walks off into an unsure future. Beating the game also unlocks an even harder expert mode for the game, but there's no way in hell I'm gonna try that. So here is my rating. Castlevania Bloodlines may only contain 6 stages per character, but the game knows how to kick your ass, which makes them feel like 100 stages. I often had to resist the urge to rage quit. But something just drew me into the game. You will want to show that Elizabeth bitch who's boss. After all, she started World War I. I give Castlevania Bloodlines 9 out of 10 pizza stamps.